who's in charge of cutting the clips?
Chris Tannehill, Tanny, our sound guy.
Nice job. Could you do another 15 minutes of that? I listen and critique the stuff. I listen to Bill Walton. It wasn't deep enough. How great is that? You've got to get down here. Don't bring it up. It's down below. Enjoy the life that is yours forever.
So you're the harsh critic to yourself.
Oh yeah, but I did like. I was actually happy with Tony Romo.
I was just gonna say,
I never heard the Romo.
I had never heard it either. That one jumped out at me.
Jim, you're gonna smile like you're a kid in a candy store, but it's not candy. It's Skechers. Here we go. Oh, it's incredible and amazing. And Jim. So I can only really say one thing is Jim Nantz. So that's why if you guys have never heard it, but I do these bits where I do Tony and Jim narrating viral videos. So with Nantz, I set it up with Romo going, "Here we go, Jim," and then with Nantz, no matter what the situation is, I just go, "Tony," because when he gets excited, it's like somebody's playing with the faders on the console of the for the audio console, and it's like somebody's going, "Ah!" So. A while back, Michael Lombardi, you know Michael Lombardi?
Of course, yeah, he comes on the station once a week.
Fantastic. Great guy. He's become a pretty good friend. I told him, I'm like, oh, yeah, I've never met Nantz. And I did an event with Romo in the front at the Cotton Bowl years and years ago. Tony Romo was a guest, but I don't even know if I've actually met Romo. I don't think I have. But I'd never met Nantz. He's like, oh, I'm good friends with him. So I get a voicemail from Nantz. And it's the greatest voicemail in the world because he's like, Frankie. And then he's like, hello, Frank. Jim Nantz. And I was like, are you kidding me? I got a hello, Frank. So I call him back, and because it was a number I didn't recognize, and I don't ever answer the phone. So I call him back. I'm like, you know why I only say Tony? It's hard to do your voice for a long time. And I don't have the ability to have that vocabulary. But you looked up at is it? Yeah.
Why is it hard to do?
Because
Nantz
it turns into Adam West, and then I told him that, and then he started doing Adam West. No. So it was so great. So
I'm picturing Nantz in the Batman costume.
Yeah, he's
now.
like, hello, friends, greetings, fine citizens, for we are here. A tradition unlike any other. So Nantz, he lives, I guess, in Nashville now. So he's like, come to Nashville, Frank. Well, spend some time with you. It was just great.
See, that's amazing that Nantz is welcoming. And I know we just lost John Madden, and I had seen your tweet about having met him once, and he was kind and welcoming.
He was nice. He didn't like me before. He never liked me until he met me, and I made his grandkids laugh. And that's why I stopped doing it right when he passed away, because I was like, well, he never really loved me. I mean, it was kind of a weird thing. I'll go back and do it. I'll do it in shows and stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean, you're in here for another few minutes.
Boom, there you go. We got to fill. But right after he passed away, I was like, kind of, people were like, are you going to do a tribute? No, I'm not. I'll just wait a little bit.
Who is not taking it well?
Oh, there are some people who don't care for it. How great is that? You can figure it out. Some people won't look you in the eyes if you do an impression of them. Oh, arugula. How great is that lettuce? Oh, arugula. Sounds
doing
like
the Heza, a.k.a. heroin.
How great is that? Sounds like a vacation island. Arugula. The Beach Boys went there once. Arugula, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you. How great is that? Kokomo.
How can you be that person and not be able to laugh at yourself?
I don't know.
I love hundreds of millions of dollars. Come on, laugh at yourself.
Yeah, and like when I was younger and I was going from college to college and nothing was on the, it was all there were AM stations that would go across. There was nothing else to listen to at all.
Yep.
Unless you had like your Walkman that you put in your car or something like that. So
and he cultivated writers. He had a staff, and then he had callers who were writers essentially.
But the greatest thing was the calls were all the stuff, so he didn't have to talk about it.
Yes.
It was just a brilliant ploy. It's like,
I'm not going to talk about OJ anymore. We're done with OJ. It's been 10 years. Let's go to the fax machine. Dear Jim, what is up with Greg Norman's slice? Sincerely, Orenthal. I just said we're not going to do any slicing jokes with Orenthal. Come on. What is going on here? Ridiculous.
Yeah, so I mean, most of the people nowadays, people even ask me if I'm going to learn to do them. But
It's a badge of honor.
I guess, yeah. I mean, people also see they can make them money. You know, if you figure out how to write for them in an impression, then Madison Avenue sees it, and then they can write the commercial for that impression, but hire the real person.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, they do that all the time. Yeah.
Like for instance?
Years and years ago, the first one I ever saw was I did a sketch on Mad TV. Madden was just writing Ace everywhere during a play, and it became an Ace Hardware commercial. And I said, Henry Cho, a comedian who's brilliant, I said, can you believe that? They're ripping off my what I did with Madden. He goes, Don't you think John Madden's sitting in a room right there thinking that's the same thing that, he's thinking the same thing right there? That's why he did it. I was like, that's as good of a Henry Cho as I could do.
But yeah, you're ripping them off.
It's a niche audience for the Henry Cho.
Very niche.
Oh, God.
But I was like, that's a brilliant line. He said it better than I did just now because I hadn't said it in years, but it was brilliant because he's like, don't you think John Madden's sitting in a room going, that guy ripped me off? I'm like, oh, yeah, you got me. So it's him. He started the whole thing anyways.
Frank Caliendo in the studio with us here. FrankOnStage.com tomorrow at the Paramount in Aurora, Friday at the Genesee in Waukegan. We love stand-up comedy. Like all of us on the show, we have comedians on as often as we can, like to get into the granular nature of it. From concept to doing it on a stage. Some comedians will get up there and they will say, I work it out on stage.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that might be tough for you. Like, what's the creative
I work a lot
process?
of stuff out on radio because then you bounce it off other people and then you can get saved.
Sure.
So and then you judge if people like the voices and stuff like that. But I my act is like basically I don't just go up there and do sketches. So I'm doing observations. It's about that kind of stuff. It's about trying to figure out. A lot of times it's about people, but it could be about family stuff and things like that. But for example, I always use this as an example. Pacino, they teach you in acting that it's all about being incredibly curious. Well, Pacino takes it to the next level. Like you could, turn on a light. He's like, wait a second. You flip a switch over here. The light goes on over there. Whoa, this is sorcery. So, or just breaking down speech patterns. If you watch Robert Downey Jr. does this thing where he talks slow at the beginning and speeds up at the end and sounds like you have to burp halfway through. Okay, so are we on the same page or not? There's that type of stuff which can, that finds its way. It's almost like you're teaching people how to do them. Or the impressions, it's interesting because if you start with Robert Downey Jr. and slow it down and raise the pitch, it becomes Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Throw me a frickin' bone and then you add some airness. It's Donald Trump, quite frankly. So it's odd that they're so close. You go, hi, Kermit the Frog here, and then you bring it down, and it becomes John C. Reilly. Did you touch my drum set? And then it becomes Mark Ruffalo. I see this as an absolute win. And then you can actually add a little more Kermit back, and it's Joe Rogan. Wow, Jamie, pull that up. Oh, my God, it's effing nuts. That's crap. Jamie, pull it up. So, it's really interesting. Well, Chris Hemsworth is up here, and Russell Crowe's down here. So they're so close.
They're kindred spirits.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you have the stuff cataloged? Like, do you have like a file where you're like, all right, these are these guys, or is it all up here in the computer?
No, I don't even know. People always ask me what impressions do I do, and I'm like, I can never remember. I don't know. I start
just
to,
there.
It's just
We all take our chance at impressions, usually of each other, or like people on other shows, something like that. And it's my sensation anyway. Is sometimes I might, like the first time I do it, just totally nail it or feel like I've got it because I'm not thinking about it. And then the more I do it, I just start thinking about it and you get up in your own damn head.
But sometimes you find it. Sometimes you find it. You just blurt it out and it works. And then sometimes you get something and then you can't hit it again and you lose it for a while. And then you have to go back and work on it. But it's more of... So, like, I've been doing a lot of these social media things where you only need a short phrase. You just go in, get out. I can do a ton like that, but to improvise and do more and talk as the person, way harder to do that kind of thing because you don't know how the intonations are going to go and how their speech pads. It's like writing music, right? It's up and down and all around. So it's a little more difficult to go more long form.
Now, you've done a lot of talk show hosts. Like, you can do, I know you've done Letterman, right? Just impressions of
He used
talk
to ask
shows.
me to do it. He's like, "Hey, are you gonna do a little bit of me on there today?" Paul, yeah, Dave. He does both.
So how difficult is it to like do a guest with the talk show host? Do you do that sometimes? Do you pair people up and like do the interview like you're both characters?
No, I don't, because I sometimes, like when I'm in my act, I do like conversation with people happening, and in sketches that works. But like to do, what am I going to do? Let's have Jimmy Fallon. Oh my gosh, it's so great! I can't believe it's Adam Sandler. Hey, how you doing? I really like what you're doing. Start laughing. Oh gosh, it's so great. Buddy, you're doing such a great job. Oh my god. You guys see this? Okay. Then Chris Berman shows up. Back to you guys.
Yeah, but the ability to go back and forth, like. I would imagine, yes, a lot of people can do the small, but the ability, like you just showed us with the
that's more fun to me.
The vocal range part of going back and forth.
To go
that's
back and
amazing.
forth
That's mastery.
Yeah, I don't know if it's mastery. It's a gimmick, but I'll take it. I'm fine with it. Yeah, to me, that's what made me different than most people who did impressions. They do, Rich Little would do 30 minutes of one, and then you're going, what's next? What's the next thing that you're going to do?
A texter pointed this out, and it's a totally fair point. I want to be sure I'm getting this right. I know the website is frankonstage.com, but I keep saying it reads tomorrow at the Paramount in Aurora and Friday at Genesee in Waukegan, but tomorrow is Friday. So you're in the Genesee on Saturday.
The Genesee is on Saturday, yeah.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Paramount
So
Aurora is Friday,
yeah.
Genesee. But when you get it wrong, it makes us have to talk about it more, and then thus it's a better promo.
Well done.
Right, there you go. That's
It's a
smart.
tremendous promo. How great is that?
Doing it great.
I just keep looking up at these guys. I have done no research at all on any of these teams in the Murray State. These guys look like they could win pretty much half the conferences. Is that? I don't even know.
They did a thing a little bit earlier where they were like, Ernie had him brought names up for Charles. We're gonna have him say a couple names.
Yeah, it's great.
Try some names. He's like,
no idea.
that actually is his name. That's what,
Yeah, they spelled the name out, and he wouldn't even attempt to read it.
He was
He's like, oh, that sounds really, really bad, Ernie. I'm not really sure.
They're the best. That show is the best because they all give each other crap and nobody's got thin skin about it. Right?
Oh yeah, it's great. They'll make cartoons of each other, and then especially the NBA and TNT when you just have Shaq.
What it's going to be, and then we try to figure it out. Listen, I agree with the first half of what you said, Shaq, but you got a little esoteric in the second stanza, and I feel that we got to come back around. And that's a good thing that you're not out here because you know Clark Kellogg, knucklehead. That's really what we're talking about. And I think we got Arizona.
This was something I saw last year. Dave Pash, who works with Bill Walton, who's become a pretty good friend of mine, he was tweeting.
Walton or Pash? I'm sorry.
Well, I know Walton pretty well, but Pash is better. I'm not scared of Pash.
Yeah.
you say hello to Bill Walton. It's 45 minutes later. You're in Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness.
And I agree, Bill. Portland 74 is the best dead bootleg. Thank you.
And never before has there been anything. But he had like 10 teams from the Big Ten or in the Final Four. He's got. It's unbelievable. Walton is he's
amazing. He filled in and did a White Sox game because him and Jason Benetti, who's the broadcaster for the White Sox, are very close. And on foul balls, it's the greatest foul ball. You know what I mean? Like,
has never in the face of the universe has there ever been a foul ball better than the one we just witnessed. Isn't it great to be here?
Frank Caliendo, kind enough to hang out in studio with us here. Parkins Spiegel on the Score. Get tickets. Go see him. Support him. FrankOnStage.com is where you can get the tickets. He's at the Paramount in Aurora tomorrow, and then Saturday at the Genesee in Waukegan. So how often would you say people try to do impressions for you?
Well, the weird thing is, it's not just that. I don't mind if people do impressions. I mean, they think I'm going to get them
Jobs.
Yeah, someone on the show. I'm like, I'm not on a show. What like I was at Mad TV, people like they thought they were like auditioning for me, like it was America's Got Talent or something like that, American Idol. I'm like, what do you think is? I have trouble getting in sketches. Why do you think I'm gonna get you in sketches?
It is kind of weird. Like if Roger Clemens were here, be like, Roger, can I show you my curve? Let's just see what I can do. It's a weird dynamic.
Roger Clemens came to a show that I did in Houston, and he looked like he was staring the batter down. Like that's the look. I was
Really?
like, he hated this, and I tweeted that out a while ago because he started following me on Twitter. He's doing something, trying to get on Twitter more at all. And he's like, "No, you're hilarious." I'm like, "Could you have shown that?" Because I thought you were going to brush me back. That's what I thought I was going to get.
Resting bitch
But
face.
to me, Roger Clemens, growing up as a kid playing baseball, like this is unbelievable.
guy.
And then Wade Boggs followed me. It would have been great to eat chicken over Zoom or something. That'd been awesome.
That's all he ate.
So, but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic there.
Well, a weird part about our show is, 4 guys hanging out in Chicago, but he just like hangs out. He's always here. Pat Mahomes, and he's on his honeymoon right now, but he flew in to be here for you today. Pat.
Hey, Danny. Hey, Frank. Speaks. How you doing, guys? It's been a while.
It's good to see you.
Wow.
Pat, thanks for being here, man.
I want to hear Patrick Mahomes sing "It's What a Wonderful World."
And I think to myself, I like ketchup on steak.
It's good improv ability. Right
He
there.
does like ketchup on steak.
That's
Yeah,
tremendous.
the improv might be better than the impression.
Frank, have you ever seen my no look throws where I'm like looking one way and then I throw the ball the other way? You ever seen that?
Jim Henson's Muppet Football.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting there. Yeah, here's what I do with Mahomes. Give it a little Texas. Yeah, man. I think there. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Somewhere in there, a little. I mean, bring it in here, in there, and there. Now mine's turning into yours.
That's not what you want.
Yeah, man. Okay. Ooh, I am super Groover.
Yeah, we thought for a while we called him Fat Mahomes because it was like Fat Albert, Pat Mahomes, as one person.
Does need a little bit of Texas.
Yeah.
But Jackson Mahomes is a frequent. It's a frequent topic. Jackson.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Because Pat doesn't like Jackson. Last
Nah,
time.
he sucks. Absolutely sucks.
Yeah, we get the lowdown on how Pat really feels about his family all the time. Like we should be breaking a lot more news,
I think
frankly,
so.
than we are having the biggest quarterback in the world on the show all the time. But and then of course you want to do. All right, this is all right.
Hey, Mike! It's all right! Gotta listen, Mike!
Dog, you
Yeah.
gotta just calm down. Okay, you're in the power chair today, but we all know that I invented the power chair. Radio has a power chair. I'm New York's #1. We invented Radio Row. We are the greatest.
Hey, Mike. Really, all I have is the laugh.
We're embarrassing.
I have to say, I don't even understand why Mike's even here with the Mad Dog. When we're doing this, it's just me and him yelling, and that's what it's all about right now. The superfluous. What's even happening here? I'm off my game because what's going on? Mike and the Mad Dog have been brought back together, and we can't even partake in this intuitively.
I like working with you better. I'm gonna be honest, I really like working with you. Sorry about that, Mike.
Oh, it's fine because I like working solo. Because, frankly, there's too many opinions in studio, and the only opinion that you need is the correct opinion, and it's my opinion.
You fell asleep the other day. You fell asleep in the chair.
Well,
That can't happen. That just can't. I have to say, I've been watching you forever, and I know that to me, that's some sort of ubiquitousness.
I close my eyes because I could do this with my eyes closed because it's a level of perfection and mastery of the craft that only I have achieved.
I think the only guy who does a better Stephen A. Smith than you is Stephen A. Smith. His impression is really solid.
It's so funny because he used to not be that, right? He would get it every once in a while. He would start yelling, and now it's just like this the entire time. What had happened to everything? Like a couple years ago, he started doing the end. Like when they gave him that giant contract, they're like, "We got to put him in everything." He's like, "Welcome to the NBA Finals, Game 1. Here we go. This is gonna be intense." And by like Game 2, he's like, "What? Stephen A. Smith here." Oh, we They're like, Stephen A. You can't yell from the beginning to end. You gotta go up and down a little bit.
Man.
He has one pitch.
We were thinking about you, and of course John Gruden, because your Gruden was so good. And I was telling these guys about the famous story when Lenny Bruce was booked in New York, and then JFK got killed, right?
Oh, right.
And Lenny Bruce is going to do a gig in New York, and you know Von Meter was?
Yeah.
Von Meter did.
That's why you say you know who Von Meter was.
Yeah, right.
Because that's all he did was JFK.
That's all he did. He had a whole life out of JFK. So Lenny Bruce had a gig booked, and everybody was like, is he still going to do it? JFK just died. What the hell? And Lenny Bruce showed up, and he came out, and he said, Von Meter is screwed. He said effed, really.
Right.
But like, there's a brilliant way to do it, you know, and try to cut through.
Yeah.
So Gruden does all that stuff, and I'm thinking, Frank Caliendo is screwed.
Completely stay away from it. I mean, that's why you got to have more than one. That's the whole thing. Is there's nothing, because what I do with the impressions is, to me, it's about having fun with stuff, and I can't. I could at some point I might do something that's about a lesson learned, like don't press send, man, that kind of a thing. But,
that's good.
But it's
not even time for that yet, right?
But even outside of that, I mean, it's too controversial of a thing, and that's not what I do. So I've just stayed away from it pretty much. It's like, there's nothing good that's gonna, because people take it out of context. Because I see somebody will yell out, like at the end of shows, I have people yell things out if I haven't done them, and they always yell out Gruden. And then I see phones get out. And then as soon as that happens, it's, then somebody cuts it out of context and it looks like, hey, look what he said. And then I'm done. So I don't even do it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Having more than one. So you don't read the emails like in person, like in like your personal.
Well, people wanted me to do that. I had people calling me. People in media wanted me to read the emails. I'm like, that's what a terrible idea.
It's not a good idea.
That's horrific. What is stupid? You're trying to
right.
I mean, you want me to go down?
Right. No, of course.
Just a bad idea.
Well, I hope you told Jim Rome to stick it after that.
Here, this is the one thing that would get you on my good side. Here we go. It's from a caller who faxed in an email from the 19th century.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, comedy can be clean or it can be blue. Yeah. I would think it would be, maybe you would say it would be a cheap laugh, but getting Morgan Freeman or whomever, Barack Obama, some sort of like very dignified person to say inappropriate things I would imagine that would be like ripe for comedic opportunities.
I mean, you can't. I mean, that's just not where I go with stuff. I mean, too, but
it's not even attractive to go there. Like it doesn't.
No, not to me. I mean, I like to parody stuff. Is to me, it's more about going through, using things from Shawshank or something like that.
Right. Climb through 500 miles of the filthiest slop I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to.
So you can use that. And that's me trying to find my car the other day in a parking lot. It's.
Yeah.
So there's those types of things that use those types of things. But for me, if you're known as that type of comedian, it's if Bill Burr could go out there and what's this about? You could do that.
Sure.
Because you're known for doing that. Once you're known in that world, it's Charles Barkley, right?
Charles Barkley, I want to punch Draymond Green in the face.
And then his apology was,
I apologize for recognizing that Draymond Green has such a punchable face.
That's not an apology, but that's Charles being Charles, and that's what he does. For me to do it so out of character that it immediately is like a red flag for people. Like, wait. And I do a lot of corporate work, so if I work for companies, all I have to do is have somebody say, look what he's doing, and then they're like, we don't want to work with you anymore.
And it's a minefield out there. But your thing, you find the essence of these people.
Yeah, that's what I like. I mean, to me, it's what's the interesting take? What's the take on the person that makes them fun? That's why I always did, up until recently, I did more the actors themselves, as opposed to movie characters or TV characters. Because if you're doing the characters, the point of view is already there in the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much how can you create something weird out of it. When I did The Man, I almost did a Mel Kiper Jr. there. Was even trying to do it. Just that's with Mel. It's like he gets lost in his basement going through his old folders. Like, try to figure out what's going on. Looking at Justin Fields doing a tremendous job. What's going to be the difference between Matt Nagy and the current coaching staff? Well, is it going to be a different situation? Are they going to block for him and make him run for his life?
look at Russell Wilson. Is there going to be another Russell Wilson, 5'1", tremendous abilities, able to run outside? So it's like it's easy to come up with those things for people because especially sports analysts. Because what do? They analyze sports. You just have them analyze stuff in real life.
Well, see, that's the thing. You got a listening audience here who really, a lot of people grew up on Monday Night John, on your guy, on you doing Madden with Mac, Yurko, and Harry on Monday afternoons or Tuesday afternoons, whenever the hell it was. But I mean, even if they listen to this station, they might have gone over there just for a segment and come back. So, and Madden, and that's what you would do with Madden, right? Is just grab him talking about anything the way he talks about football.
There was a show, when I would do this, there was a show that I grew up in Milwaukee. There was a show that I'm going to say it like 6 more times. There was a show.
Was there a show?
There was a show.
Okay.
There was a show. There was a show. There was a show. There was a show. There was a show in Osgard. No. So there was a show called the Giggle Snort Hotel. Look it up. It was based here. It was in Chicago. It was a locally produced show, and there was a character named Blob. That was that was clay on like a platform, and they would sculpt him and put different faces on him, and he would go, and that's what Madden was. So, you guys don't remember the Giggle Snort Hotel?
No, I'm looking at
there
it
was
right
Dirty
now.
Dragon who lived underneath the stairs.
The BJ and Dirty Dragon show.
Yes.
Wow. 78
missed
episodes between 75 and 78.
Yeah. And they probably replayed it. I probably saw replays or reruns in Milwaukee, but it was Saturday morning kind of stuff. And if you look up Blob, you'll just see him going,
Frank Caliendo again, Paramount in Aurora tomorrow, Saturday, the Genesee in Waukegan, frankonstage.com. Did I read correctly? You're acting? You doing auditions or shows? Like, so are these as Frank Caliendo an actor or impressions?
No, I won't do the impression stuff.
Oh, okay. So what's the next step?
That's why I don't even like sitcoms. It's like they rewrite the sitcom. Like, okay, now you're going to be Morgan Freeman narrating why we're going to dinner. Like I've done that on like 3 or 4 different sitcoms. I'm like, all right, so now I just try and read for serious stuff, and it's going well. I mean, I've had some auditions where they're like, it started out with the auditions were terrible, and now they're like, oh, this is pretty good. You just have to find the right part that somebody's looking for you. The last thing I read for was I was never going to get. They're probably looking for a 6'5" skinny guy with sculpted features. And
Come on, you could just do that impression.
I'm real close.
But like, there's a long lineage of comics who just kind of have the chops for that. Bill Burr's having a moment right now doing that.
I mean, well, part of it is you get so big doing a podcast or a special on Netflix, they just find places to put you and then let you evolve after that. So for me, I haven't done a lot of that kind of stuff because I step back because when you do impressions, it's like being a magician. Everybody just wants you to do the magic trick all the time.
Right.
So they can't even see you doing something else. So that's part of the reason that raising my kids and my wife, being around them a lot more because I missed my son walking and first steps and stuff like 15.
He's going to do that his whole life.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I did it because my kids have terrible anxiety and stuff like that, so they needed me at times, and I was glad that I was there. And so they wish that I had been for a lot of it. They wish I'd been gone and could have gotten them better stuff now. But
it's cool though. It's like the next challenge for you creatively, right?
I never understood it when I was a kid when Jim Carrey was like, I've decided to try something serious. And you're like, why? You're so great at this, but you just get bored with it.
Yeah, remember when Bill Murray did The Razor's Edge? It was like, oh, that's not going to work.
But he's doing it now. It just took time.
Yeah, he did it. 10 straight texters who loved the Giggle Snort Hotel.
There we go.
Grew up on, apparently it ran on WGN Channel 9 here in Chicago too.
Yeah, I mean, it was when you go back and watch it, that was, for us in Milwaukee, it was the New Zoo Review, and then that came on, I think, or flip-flop, But yeah, the Giggle Snort Hotel was like big part of my childhood.
So you maybe heard as we were coming in, last thing we'll ask of you, Frank Caliendo, again, frankonstage.com. Jim Nantz did, here we go, Matt. Here we go, Danny. As anyone that you want, maybe like a liner or two for the Parkins and Spiegel show on the score?
Yeah. But he doesn't. Tony Romo says, "Here we go."
Yeah, no, I know. It was
So we haven't had
Romo on the show.
We grabbed them doing, "Here we go, Jim. Here we go, Tony," and
From
we
a
used that
game.
in an open.
Okay.
And
so when we talked to Nantz,
then
we
Oh, you know
Yeah.
why they do that, right? Or you know why Nantz does that? Because he screws up my bit. Like that's him doing. He says, "Here we go." The reason he does that is because they were played my bit, and they've done it in games. They did it in the Kansas City
Browns
game.
Chiefs playoff game.
Browns
That was
Chiefs,
the first
yeah.
time they did it.
Yeah, that was them.
Here we go, Jen. Here we go, Tony.
So
That's you?
No, that's not me. That's
I don't
them.
know what
But
That's them doing
me.
you,
But
doing them?
Let's play it again and listen to Romo's voice. He's not using his normal voice.
Here we go. Here we go, Jen. Here we go, Tony.
And then he went, and he's just supposed to, Nantz is just supposed to say, "Tony." But he went, "Here we go, Tony." So that was them doing an homage to my.
Well, that's the open of this show.
We play that at the beginning of our show.
But it ought to be, "Here we go,
Jim,
Matt."
Parkins and Spiegel, these guys are going to be incredible and amazing. And they started talking over my promo for them at the beginning of the show. And here we go, Jim. Tony. Oh, Jim, we could start the show right now.
It's amazing. It's amazing. FrankOnStage.com. Support this man. He's been great to us. Very generous with his time. Tomorrow, Paramount in Aurora. Saturday, Genesee in Waukegan.
And huge homages to Giggle Snort Hotel at the show.
Perfect.
That's going to bring him out, I think.
And then we're going to do grand prize game.
It's perfect.
So,
Frank Caliendo, again, FrankOnStage.com. Thank you so much for your time.
Good to see you.